Hey, BassGeek here, and one of the biggest mistakes I see anglers make is buying a bait and thinking there's only one way to rig and fish it. But the truth is, one soft plastic can solve several different problems throughout the day if you know how to rig. Today, I'm going to show you how this one bait makes an incredible buzzbait trailer, an incredible spinnerbait trailer, and is one of the best bait fish imitators when the bass are busting shad you can find. During the summer, those early morning feeding windows are going to be some of the best you're going to get all day. Those cooler morning water temps and that low light level gets those bass pulled out away from that heavy cover, ready to pounce on some easy forage. And that's exactly why I'm starting with one of my favorite topwater baits, and that is a buzzbait. It lets me cover a lot of water really fast for those aggressive morning bites. But instead of throwing the same old trailers on that buzzbait that everybody else is throwing, I'm gonna throw something that's a little more realistic. And that is gonna be the Scum Runner. And you can rig the Scum Runner two different ways on a buzzbait. Rig it sideways, you get a slimmer, more natural bait fish presentation. Turn that Scum Runner sideways, you're going to be able to slow that buzzbait down because it's going to give you a little more lift. It's going to skip incredibly well, and you're going to get a little more action as these kick while they come through the water. It's also going to give the bait a little bit of lift, which will keep this bait moving slower and in that strike zone a lot longer. When it comes to colors, I'm matching the forage no matter what it is, and that's the great thing about this bait. You can match almost any forage. But if I'm taking a buzzbait early morning during the summer, going down the bank, most of the time, I'm going to be matching some sort of bluegill or bream. And that's why I'm using the Gilligan. Since I'm covering a lot of water and I'm throwing this up around a lot of cover, I'm going to use anything from a 7-foot to a 7.3 medium heavy fast action rod. I'm going to use 50-pound canine braid, the smooth casting. And I'm going to couple that, because I fish a lot of clear water, with a mono, most of the time 14 to 20 pound leader. When it comes to the reel, I'm going to be throwing a high speed reel. That reel is going to be in the 8s most of the time, or at least the high 7s. I like an 8 speed. This is an 8 1-to-1. Here's a couple of little tips that I can give you when I'm fishing a buzzbait trying to mimic bluegill or bream. I always want to have a gold blade. Secondly, with this, I'm going to tip these two trailers in chartreuse, especially if I'm around those young bluegill. Just makes it look more realistic. A buzzbait retrieve is pretty simple. You're going to fish it just fast enough to keep it on top of the water and that blade turning as slow as you can without it sinking. But you're going to want to fish it around, through, bumping, coming over any type of cover you can get it near. Once those bass stop adjusting to that topwater bait, it's time to make the next adjustment. So as the sun gets higher, the bass don't stop feeding. They just are less willing to chase bait to the surface. Instead, they'll get a little tighter to that cover that they're holding on and not nearly as willing to roam. And that's when I put that Scum Runner on a spinnerbait. Most anglers reach for a paddle tail or a split tail, but this, as a trailer, gives your spinnerbait a whole different profile. Those kicking feet keep moving even at slow speeds, and it keeps that bulky bait profile. Just like the buzzbait, you can rig this two different ways. You can rig it sideways, which gives it that real bulky bluegill profile, or rig it sideways if you want a little more lift and a slower fall. When it comes to color, again, if I'm fishing the banks during the summer, I'm fishing for bluegill or bream feeding bass. So I'm definitely going with a gold blade, and I'm going with a bluegill color spinnerbait. So again, I'm going to use that Gilligan color on the back of that spinnerbait. Now, one tip I can give you is if you're fishing clear water, take the skirt off, use just the Scum Runner. It's going to be a lot more subtle, and because of that incredible paint job, it's going to be really realistic. When it comes to the setup, I'm going to use anything from a 7 to a 7.3, medium heavy, fast action, whole lot of the same thing that I'm using on the buzzbait, except for the reel speed. This is a 6.8 to 1. That 6.5, 6.8, I like that, to maybe a 7, because you can fish it really quick, or you can slow down and slow roll it to deeper depths. Now when it comes to line, it's going to be K9 Pro 100, and I'm going to fish anywhere from 12 to 15 pounds. So when it comes to retrieve, here's a real simple one for you. I'm going to throw it up there around whatever cover it is I'm fishing. I'm going to make sure I'm ticking it every once in a while so that those blades change. And every once in a while, I'm going to give that spinnerbait just a couple of taps on the rod to make it dart forward and make those blades kind of do something unusual. A lot of times you'll get destroyed when you do that. The third way that I'm going to fish a scum runner from Scum Frog is probably a way that not a lot of anglers are thinking about. When bass start busting shad out over open water, most anglers are running to those walking baits, poppers, ploppers, or even flukes. Most anglers see a buzz toad, but I see a fleeing bait fish. And I think that's where the Scum Runner is really going to surprise you. I like to Texas rig the Scum Runner. Texas rigged on a 4/0 EWG hook. Now I will say this, I am using just a light, I think it's a 5/16 Gamakatsu hook here. All the links will be down in the description, by the way. But this version of a Scum Runner looks just like a fleeing bait fish. Those kicking feet give it just enough action to draw those bass's attention, while at the same time having an incredibly realistic bait fish profile. And when I'm chasing those bass that are chasing those shad out in the middle of the lake during the summer, that's when I want this color. So when it comes to setup on this, I'm using a 7'3" so I can get that long cast to be able to get out and touch those bass when they're busting those shad. This is a medium heavy, moderate fast because I'm fishing in open water, so I don't really need a big gaff of a hook. So I'm going with the lightest hook that I can get away with when I'm rigging this bait. When it comes to reel speed, I want something fast. This is a 7.2, and that's really the lowest end that I'm going to use when it comes to this bait in open water. When it comes to line, I'm using as my main line that 20-pound JDM braid from K9 because it's going to allow me to cast a mile. And then I've got a 12 to 14 pound mono leader. Most of the time, 5 to 8 feet. So when it comes to retrieve, I'm going to make a long cast, preferably just past or right on the head of those bass when they're busting. Now, I'm not going to retrieve this like you normally would a toad. What I'm actually going to do is as soon as it hits the water, I'm going to rip because I want this bait going crazy. I'm going to let it stop, and then I'm going to rip again. I want this to look like a bait fish, maybe even jumping out of the water. If it comes up out of the water, great, because it's just going to look like a fleeing bait fish, one that's jumping, trying to get away from those bass. And that's why I don't look at the Scum Runner as just another toad. I see a bait that can do a lot of different things, including the same things that a lot of toads do, but a lot of things that those toads can't do. And versatility is one of the things, to me, makes a bait great. Those baits that are versatile are going to be the baits that are always in my boat because I can use them in so many different ways. And the Scum Runner by Scum Frog, it definitely fits that bill. Now, if you want to go check out another summer pattern, go check out this video right here. Otherwise, questions and comments in the comment section below. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring the bell. Be part of the 100% Watch Squad. And you geeks rock.